The neutral station at Grid Point 19 became a busy place after the rescue. Ships from many species docked there. They came to talk. They came to look. Coalition delegates walked the wide corridors next to human officers. No one spoke loud. No one carried weapons. But eyes watched everything. Megan Carter arrived from Earth. She wore a plain gray uniform. No bright marks. No rank stars. She met the Coalition Council in a big room with clear walls. Stars shone outside. She sat at one end of the long table. Lyra Voss sat at the other end. Megan spoke first. "Thank you for asking us here. We came to listen." Lyra Voss smoothed her feathers. "We want to know why. Your fleet came fast. It destroyed the raiders. Then it stayed to fix our ships and heal our people. Why?" Megan looked around the table. Many eyes looked back. "Because someone sent a distress call. We heard it. We answered. That is reason enough." A Thalorian delegate pulsed slow blue light. "We thought Deathworlders would take advantage. Take our ships. Take our worlds." Megan shook her head. "We do not want your worlds. We want safe borders. No more raiders. No more attacks on the weak. We can help keep that peace." The council talked for a long time. Some still felt afraid. Others saw something new. Hope. They voted. They agreed to small joint patrols. One coalition ship, one human ship. Test runs in quiet space. The first patrol began one cycle later. Star of Accord flew beside Vigilant. White hull next to dark gray. They moved slow through a calm nebula edge. Sensors swept wide. On Star of Accord, Lyra Voss stood on her bridge. She watched Vigilant on the screen. Steady. Strong. Daniel Brooks appeared on the comm screen. "Captain Voss, all clear so far. Thank you for flying with us." Daniel nodded. "Happy to." They talked about simple things. Navigation paths, sensor ranges, repair tricks. No secrets. Just work. Raiders watched from far away. They saw the white ship and the dark ship together. They stayed hidden. They did not attack. Word spread fast. More patrols started. Virelian cadets visited Terra training grounds. They felt heavy gravity pull their wings down. They ran through hot sand. They sat in cold rooms. They learned why humans stay calm when everything hurts. One cadet spoke quiet. "It is hard, but they do it every day." A human instructor answered. "That is why we do not break easy." Human Marines trained with feathered scouts. They taught silent steps, quick choices, how to move as one. A scout asked, "Why no fear?" The Marine smiled small. "Fear is there. We just move through it." Crystal engineers studied human repair drones. They learned fast fixes, strong seals. They built better ships together. Megan Carter met Lyra Voss again, this time on Vigilant. They stood on the observation deck. Stars filled the wide windows. Lyra spoke soft. "My people no longer whisper your name like a curse. They say it with respect now." Megan looked out. "Good." Lyra turned to her. "You changed us. One distress call, one armada, one choice to stay." Megan shook her head. "You changed yourselves. You asked for help. You trusted. That is hard for anyone." They watched a patrol ship pass. Coalition white, human dark, side by side. Lyra smiled small. "We fly together now." Megan nodded. "And we will keep flying." Years passed. Joint patrols became normal. Coalition ships sailed beside human armadas. Young cadets trained on Terra simulators. They learned endurance. They learned calm. Human medics taught alien doctors new ways to heal. Engineers shared repair methods. The old stories changed. No more whispers of monsters. Now tales of the armada that answered one call and changed the galaxy. Lyra Voss retired. She wrote a book. Deathworlders don't send aid, they send armadas. It became required reading in many schools. Daniel Brooks retired to a quiet farm on Earth. Clear sky. He received messages every cycle. From Lyra Voss, "Thank you for coming that day." From cadets, "Thank you for teaching us." From council members, "Thank you for staying." He answered always the same. "You called, we answered." Vigilant still flew. New captain, same mission. Patrol, protect. Answer. The galaxy remembered. They once feared Deathworlders. They hid from their name. They thought Deathworlders would destroy. Until one distress call, one armada, one choice, and everything changed. Deathworlders do not send aid. They send armadas, to make sure no one ever needs to call again, and the stars shine safer, because when the dark comes, humans come faster, harder, together. No one stands alone anymore, not when the call goes out, not when the dark comes, because humans answer, and the dread is gone, replaced by something better, something stronger, something shared. The damaged coalition ships flew slow under the human escort. Star of Accord led the small line. Its hull still showed black marks from the fight. Fresh patches covered the worst holes. The other vessels followed close. Engines hummed steady again. The repair drones had done their work. The human armada stayed around them. Vigilant at the front, carriers on the sides, destroyers at the rear. No one spoke much on open channels. The silence felt safe, heavy, real. On Star of Accord, the crew moved quiet. They fixed small things. They helped the wounded walk again. They looked out viewports at the dark human ships, strong shapes against the stars. Lyra Voss stood on her bridge. Her feathers lay flat now, not from fear, from thinking. She turned to Kale. "What do we tell the council?" The crystal being pulsed soft blue. "The truth. They came with an armada. They ended the pirates. They asked for nothing." Lyra nodded slow. "They could have taken our ships, our data, our lives. They did not." A young Virelian crew member spoke up, voice small. "I talked to one of their medics. She said humans answer every distress call they hear, no matter who sends it." Lyra looked at the main screen. Vigilant filled half the view. Clean lines, heavy guns, silent now. "Then why do the stories call them monsters?" Kale answered slow. "Stories grow when no one looks close. We never met them. We only heard what happened when someone pushed too hard." Lyra exhaled. "We pushed nothing. We only asked." The fleet reached the neutral station at grid point 19, a big ring of metal and lights, safe for all species. Coalition ships docked first. Human ships stayed outside the ring, close enough to watch, far enough to not scare. Lyra Voss requested a meeting with Daniel Brooks. He agreed. They met in a quiet conference room on the station. No guards, just two captains. Simple table, soft lights. Lyra stepped in first. Daniel waited standing. He offered his hand. She took it. "Thank you for the escort," she said. Daniel nodded. "You are welcome." They sat. Lyra spoke first. "My people feared you for generations. We heard you destroy fleets, burn worlds, take no prisoners." Daniel looked at her steady. "Some of that happened, long ago, when others tried to take our home. We fought back, hard. We won." Lyra tilted her head. "And now?" Daniel leaned back a little. "Now we build, we explore, we protect what is ours, and when someone calls for help, we listen." Lyra studied his face. "No people." Daniel nodded once. "We train for that." She paused long. "The council will want to know more. They will want talks, maybe work together." Daniel answered quiet. "We are open to it, but we do not join groups that tie our hands. We help when we can. We stay free." Lyra understood. No chains. Daniel smiled small. First time. No chains. They talked more. About Terra. About storms that flood cities. About animals that hunt at night. About humans who keep going anyway. Lyra listened close. Her fear shrank. Not gone, but smaller. When they finished, she stood. I will tell my people the truth. The Deathworlders came, they saved us, they stayed. Daniel stood too. Tell them we are people, not monsters. Lyra nodded. I will. She left. Back on Vigilant, Daniel returned to the bridge. Laura waited. How did it go? Daniel sat in his chair. Good. They are less afraid now. Kevin looked up from tactical. Council wants joint patrols, small ones, test runs. Ashley smiled from her station. They want to learn how we fight. Brandon added quiet. They want to understand why we answer calls. Daniel looked at the screen. The coalition ships safe in dock. Then we show them. The next cycles brought change. Coalition scouts met human scouts at border points. They shared maps. They talked tactics. Virelian cadets visited Terra simulators. They felt heavy gravity pull their wings. They ran through hot sand. They learned cold rooms. They learned why humans stay calm when everything hurts. One cadet said quiet. But they do it every day. A human instructor answered. That is why we do not break easy. Human Marines trained with feathered scouts. They taught silent steps, quick decisions, how to move in teams. A scout asked, why no fear? The Marine smiled small. Fear is there. We just move through it. Crystal engineers studied human drones. They learned fast fixes, strong welds. They built better ships together. Megan Carter met Lyra Voss again, this time on Vigilant. They stood on the observation deck. Stars filled the view. Lyra spoke soft. My people no longer whisper your name like a curse. They say it with respect now. Megan looked out. Good. Lyra turned to her. You changed us. One distress call, one armada, one choice. Megan shook her head. You changed yourselves. You asked. You trusted. That is hard for anyone. They watched a patrol ship pass. Human dark. Side by side. Lyra smiled small. We fly together now. Megan nodded. And we will keep flying. The Armada waited. They watched. They guarded. They did not leave until the coalition ships could fly safe again. The galaxy would hear this story. One call, one armada, one choice to stay, and the dread would change. Slow, but real. The coalition of harmony ruled a large, quiet part of the galaxy. Their ships were white and smooth. Their people spoke in gentle voices. They solved problems with meetings and agreements. Fighting was something they read about in old books. Their ships carried light weapons only for show. They did not like war. They feared it. For many cycles they heard stories about humans, the Deathworlders from Terra, a planet full of storms that flooded cities, animals with sharp teeth, diseases that killed fast, cold winters, hot deserts, earthquakes, volcanoes. Humans lived through it all. They climbed tall mountains. They swam in freezing water. They fought beasts bigger than themselves. They even fought each other sometimes. Coalition teachers told children the same thing every time. Never call the Deathworlders. They do not send help. They send armadas, big fleets, angry fleets. Stay away. No one in the coalition had met a human face to face. Only rumors. Ships that went quiet near human borders. Colonies that sent one last message, then disappeared. The fear sat deep and old, like a shadow that never left. One cycle, a coalition science fleet entered a far nebula. 5 ships, 4 research vessels, and 1 escort cruiser. They wanted to study rare gas clouds. Nothing dangerous, no soldiers, just scientists. The nebula hid pirates. Black ships appeared from the dark. No warning, no message. Just attack. Boarding pods hit the hulls hard. Metal tore open. A large screamed loud. Pirates rushed inside. Tall figures in black armor, blades that glowed red, rifles that spat green fire. The Coalition crews were not fighters. They ran through corridors. They hid in rooms. They tried to lock doors. It did not work. On the lead ship's Star of Accord, Captain Lyra Voss stood on the bridge. Her feathers shook. Her many eyes blinked fast. Screens showed her people fall one by one. "Send the distress beacon," she said. Her voice stayed calm but thin. "All channels, open, maximum power." The communications officer sent the message fast. "Mayday, Mayday, Coalition science fleet under heavy attack. Unknown hostiles, civilian ships, many wounded. Coordinates attached. Any help needed. Please respond." The beacon kept sending. Most ships in range stayed quiet. The pirates were known, strong, cruel. Helping meant death. Then one answer came. A single voice, low, clear, human accent. "This is Captain Daniel Brooks of the Terran heavy cruiser Vigilant. We received your distress call. Our task force is 40 minutes from your position. Hold if possible. We are coming." The bridge went still. Lyra Voss turned to her first officer, a slow Thalorian named Kale. "Humans," she whispered. Kale's crystals dimmed dark. "Deathworlders." The pirates heard the reply too. Their commander laughed loud over open comms. "Let the Deathworlders come. We will take their ships, more prizes for us." Lyra closed her eyes for 1 second. She looked at her crew. Feathers down, eyes wide with fear. "Stay calm," she said. "Help is coming." She did not know if she believed her own words. Raiders banged on the bridge door. Metal groaned. Sparks flew. The timer counted down. 40 minutes. It felt like years. On the other ships the same thing happened. Crews hid. Wounded cried. Pirates searched room by room. The beacon kept sending. The nebula stayed dark and thick. Then sensors lit up. A new signature. Not one ship. Not 10. 32. Dark hulls. Sharp edges. Engines burning hot blue. Human ships. The raiders stopped laughing. On Vigilance Bridge, Captain Daniel Brooks stood with hands behind his back. Short brown hair. Gray eyes steady. Commander Laura Kane at weapons. Kevin Ruiz at tactical. Ashley Ford ready for fighters. Brandon Hale on damage screens. Daniel spoke once over fleet comms. "Protect the Coalition ships first, then neutralize the hostiles. No mercy for boarders. Move in." The Armada moved. Fast. Clean. Raiders fired heavy cannons. Plasma streaks filled space. Human shields flashed bright blue. Took every hit. Did not break. Then the humans answered. Railguns fired together. Long metal slugs crossed distance fast. They punched through raider armor. Holes opened. Air vented white. Lights died on enemy ships. Missile bays opened. Smart warheads launched. They turned. Found weak spots. Exploded inside hulls. Fire bloomed silent. Another tried to flee. Ashley's fighters launched. Hundreds of small black craft. They swarmed. Torpedoes struck engines. The ships spun slow. Dead. Boarding pods left the human transports. Black armored Marines inside. They hit raider hulls. Inside corridors, raiders waited with blades and rifles. Humans stepped out. Helmets dark. Suits matte. Flashbangs rolled. Bright light, loud noise. Raiders staggered. Humans moved in. Suppressed shots. Legs, arms, shoulders. Raiders dropped. No extra hits, no screams, just work. One raider captain charged with a red blade. He roared. A Marine raised his rifle. One shot. Knee broke. Captain fell. Marine zip-tied wrists. Dragged him to shuttle. In 30 minutes, the raider fleet was gone. Burning ships drifted. Survivors raised hands. The human armada formed a circle around the Coalition vessels. Daniel opened a channel. Captain Brooks to Coalition fleet. Hostiles destroyed or captured. Request permission to send medical teams and repair drones. Lyra Voss stared at the screen. A human face, calm, normal. She answered slow. Permission granted. Thank you, Captain. Daniel nodded once. Teams en route. The bridge crew looked at each other. The Deathworlders had come. They had seen the attack. They had ended it. And they asked permission before they helped. The fear stayed. But now it had a small crack. The human shuttles docked one after another with the damaged Coalition ships. Airlocks hissed open. White-suited medics stepped out first. They carried heavy kits full of tools and medicine. Their faces stayed calm. They moved careful around the strange bodies and feathers and crystals. Laura Kane led the team on Star of Accord. She walked down the main corridor. Wounded lay on the deck. Blood on metal. Quiet cries filled the air. She knelt beside a Virelian with a torn wing. The alien breathed fast, eyes wide with pain. Hold still, Laura said soft. This will help. She sprayed a white foam on the wound. It sealed the cut fast. The bleeding stopped. She gave an injection into the arm. The alien relaxed. Breathing slowed. The Virelian looked up. Many eyes blinked slow. You are human. Laura nodded. Yes. Why do you help us? Laura kept working. She checked the wing joint. You sent a distress call. We heard it. That is all. The alien stared. We were told Deathworlders destroy everything. They do not help. Laura finished the bandage. She stood. Stories grow big in the dark. Reality is different. More medics spread through the ship. They found the hurt. They patched deep cuts. They set broken bones. They gave medicine for pain. They spoke gentle words. They touched alien skin with care. No one rushed. No one shouted. On another Coalition vessel, a Felorian lay still. Crystals cracked. Light dim. Brandon Hale knelt beside him. He scanned the body with a small device. It beeped soft. Fractured core structure, Brandon said quiet. Hold on. He used a special tool. It sent warm pulses into the crystals. The cracks sealed slow. The light grew brighter. The Felorian stirred. You fixed me, the alien said, voice deep and slow. Brandon packed his kit. You will be okay. Rest now. The Felorian pulsed, soft blue. Thank you. Brandon nodded once. He moved to the next wounded. Repair drones flew out from the human carriers. Small machines with many arms. They crawled over the hulls. They sealed holes with hot welders. They replaced broken plates. They restarted engines. Lights came back on. Air flowed again. Kevin Ruiz watched from Vigilant. He spoke over comms. Repair at 85% on Star of Accord. Engines online in 10 minutes. Daniel Brooks stood on his bridge. He looked at the screen. Good work. Keep going. Ashley Ford reported from Fighter Control. Raider survivors all secured. No hidden ships left. Brandon Hale added from Medical. Coalition wounded stable. No more deaths. Lyra Voss walked the corridors of her ship. She saw humans in white helping her people. She saw drones fix her hull. She saw the dark human ships outside the viewports. Still there. Still watching. Her crew looked at her. They are not leaving, Kale said. Lyra nodded slow. They stay until we are safe. She opened a channel to Vigilant. Captain Brooks, this is Captain Voss. May I come aboard? Daniel answered quick. Permission granted. We will meet you at the airlock. Lyra took a small escort. 2 guards. They walked through the docking tube. The air smelled clean. Human air. Daniel waited at the other end. Tall, calm. He offered his hand. Captain Voss, welcome aboard Vigilant. Lyra took it. Her feathers smoothed a little. They walked to the observation deck. Stars filled the wide windows. Lyra spoke first. You came with 32 ships. You destroyed an armada. Then you stayed to help. Daniel looked out at the stars. You needed help. We brought what was needed. Lyra turned to him. We feared Deathworlders for so long. We thought you would take our ships. Take our lives. Daniel met her eyes. We do not take from the helpless. We protect them when they ask. Lyra paused. Why? Daniel thought a moment. Because we know what it feels like to be alone in the dark. We know what it costs to wait for help that never comes. We do not let others wait. Lyra looked at the deck. Humans worked quiet. No noise, no waste. Your people are strong, she said. Daniel answered quiet. Terra made us strong. It did not make us cruel. They talked more. About Terra. About storms that destroy cities. About animals that hunt at night. About humans who keep going anyway. Lyra listened close. Her fear shrank smaller. Not gone, but different. When they finished, she said, Thank you for coming. Daniel nodded. You called, we answered. She left vigilant. Walked back to her ship. Her crew waited. She told them, simple. They are not monsters. They are people who answer calls. They help. They stay. They leave when it is safe. The crew looked at each other. The fears stayed in their hearts. But now it had a small door open. Light came through. The human armada waited. They watched the repairs. They guarded the wounded. They did not ask for anything. The Deathworlders had come. They had fought. They had healed. And they stayed. Until the coalition ships could fly again. The galaxy would hear this story. One distress call. One armada. One choice to stay. And the dread would change. Slow, but real. The raiders did not stop firing, even after the human ships appeared. Their heavy cannons roared across the empty space. Bright plasma bolts flew toward the dark human hulls. The shields on Vigilant and the other ships lit up blue. Each hit made the energy field flash bright. But the shields held. No cracks, no alarms, no panic on the human bridges. Captain Daniel Brooks watched the main screen. His face stayed calm. He spoke in a low voice. Fighters launch. Target engines and weapon systems. Keep the coalition ships in the clear. Ashley Ford answered from her station. Fighters away. Small black craft shot out from the carriers. They moved quick and sharp. They twisted through the void like birds hunting. Raider guns tried to follow them. Too slow. The fighters slipped past. Torpedoes left white trails. They struck Raider engines. Explosions bloomed silent. One cruiser lost power. It spun slow. Kevin Ruiz at Tactical spoke next. Railguns ready. Engaging targets. Targets locked. Daniel gave one nod. Fire. The destroyers answered together. Long metal slugs left the barrels at high speed. They crossed the distance fast. They punched clean through Raider armor. Holes opened wide. Air rushed out in white clouds. Lights went dark on enemy ships. One Raider vessel broke in two. The front half drifted. The back half burned. Missile bays opened on the cruisers. Smart warheads launched. They turned in space, found weak spots, detonated inside hulls. Raider ships cracked open. Fire spread fast. The Raiders tried to fight back. They fired everything they had. Bolts hit human shields again and again. The blue flashes stayed steady. Laura Kane watched the scans. Boarding pods incoming on Vigilant and the carriers. They want to fight inside. Daniel looked at her. Let them come. Marines are waiting. Assault transports opened bays. Small black pods launched. Each carried armored Marines. Suits matte black. The pods hit Raider hulls. Cutters burned through metal. Marines stepped out. Inside corridors, Raiders waited. Blades ready. Rifles up. They thought they had the advantage. Humans moved first. Flashbangs rolled down halls. Bright light filled the space. Loud noise rang. Raiders staggered blind. Then suppressed rifles spoke soft. Precise shots. Legs buckled. Arms dropped weapons. Shoulders hit the deck. Raiders fell without a sound. No extra bullets. No kicks. No shouts. Just control. One raider captain stood tall in his bridge. He roared at his crew. Hold them, cut them down. The door blew open quiet. A Marine stepped in, rifle low. The captain charged with a glowing blade. The Marine raised his weapon. One shot, the knee gave way. The captain fell hard. He screamed once. The Marine moved close, zip-tied wrists tight, dragged him to the pod. No words, no anger, just done. Raiders set traps. They hid behind corners. A human drone rolled ahead. Small wheels. It scanned. Showed positions on helmet displays. Marines flanked. Came from both sides. Raiders turned too late. Shots dropped them fast. In 30 minutes the fighting stopped. Raider ships went dark. Survivors raised empty hands. Dropped weapons on the floor. The human fleet formed a tight circle around the coalition vessels. Shields overlapped to cover them all. Daniel opened a channel to Star of Accord. Captain Brooks to coalition fleet. Hostiles neutralized. All raider ships disabled or captured. Request permission to send medical teams and repair drones. Lyra Voss stared at the screen. A human face looked back. Ordinary, calm, no smile, no threat. She answered slow. Permission granted. Thank you, Captain. Daniel nodded once. Teams en route. Shuttles left the carriers fast, white suits with red marks. They carried kits full of tools, scanners, painkillers, bandages. They moved careful. On Star of Accord, the first shuttle docked. The airlock hissed open. Laura Kane stepped out first. She carried a heavy medkit. Behind her came more humans in white. A wounded Varelian lay on the deck. Arm torn open, blood on feathers. Laura knelt. Hold still. This will help. She sprayed sealant on the wound. The bleeding stopped quick. She gave an injection. The alien relaxed. The Varelian looked up with wide eyes. You are human. Laura nodded. Yes. Why help us? Laura kept working. You sent a distress call. We heard it. That is enough. More medics moved through the ship. They found the wounded. They patched cuts. They set bones. They spoke soft words. They touched alien skin careful. Repair drones launched from the human carriers. Small machines with many arms. They swarmed the hulls. Welded plates. Restarted broken systems. Kevin Ruiz coordinated from Vigilant. Repair progress at 80% on Star of Accord. Engines will be online soon. Daniel watched the screen. Good. Keep it steady. Ashley reported from Fighter Command. Raider survivors secured. No countermoves detected. Brandon Hale checked life signs. All coalition wounded stable. No more critical cases. Lyra Voss asked to come aboard Vigilant. Daniel met her at the airlock. Captain Voss, welcome. She stepped inside, small among the tall humans. You came with 32 ships. Daniel nodded. We came with what was needed. Lyra looked at the clean bridge. Quiet voices, steady lights. We thought Deathworlders would destroy us too. Daniel met her eyes. We do not destroy the helpless. We protect them when asked. They walked to the observation deck. Stars filled the view. Lyra spoke quiet. Thank you for coming. Daniel looked out. You called. We answered. The fear in her chest stayed. But now it had a small light inside. The Armada waited. They watched. They guarded. They did not leave. The Deathworlders had come. They had ended the fight. They had started to heal. And they asked nothing in return. The galaxy would hear. One distress call. One Armada. One answer. And everything would change.